Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to go in my favourite ever World Cup, World Cup 2006. Now in my lifetime I've only actually managed to see, properly, since I've properly actually managed to watch football, around about 4 World Cups. And yeah, I mean, it's been difficult to choose because the Football World Cup is most people, no matter if you're a football fan or not, most people do watch the World Cup because it's generally really fun, especially 2018 when we had the red hot weather in this country, which was a nice change, and the fact we had the World Cup was just amazing. It was amazing stuff to see, to be honest with you. But my personal favourite ever World Cup is not the 2018 one. It was great because obviously I got to enjoy it more because I was a bit older. But my actual personal favourite ever World Cup will have to be, I'm gonna have to go with 2006, mainly because there were so many strong teams in the tournament. To be honest with you, this obviously you had Italy who won the tournament, you had Germany who were the hosts, Brazil was still great, their ageing team that was probably the last sign of that great team at the time. You had the likes of Argentina who had a pretty good tournament, and they were a good side back then. England, I mean, really underachieved with the team they had at that point. This was the golden generation, and really the golden generation's last big tournament that they unfortunately didn't succeed in. Portugal had a pretty promising team, so there were so many good teams at this, and France, who also got to the final, can't forget them. There were so many promising teams that, I just really enjoyed this tournament. I was 10 years old at the time, not far off being 11, and I just remember the tournament being really fun from start to finish, to be honest with you. You started it with the first game, Germany-Costa Rica, ended 4-2 to Germany, which saw a quality fourth goal for Germany from Torsten Frings, and the opening goal was scored by a Germany legend, Philipp Lahm. I mean, seeing Germany host the tournament was also great because Germany have more than got the stadiums. Even watching the Bundesliga these days, the stadiums in Germany, for me, are fantastic. I actually probably think they're on par, if not better, than the England stadiums, which is really saying something. The atmospheres of even the lower clubs in the division are very good. But, I mean, the tournament as a whole was just brilliant, though. I mean, of course, we all know what happened. Well, maybe not now necessarily, but anyone who's about my age or older will know what happened in the final, and that was Zinedine Zidane's famous headbutt on Marco Materazzi, which was quite something. Zinedine Zidane, of course, that was his final ever game for France. He retired after this tournament. Zidane had a pretty good tournament, but in a bizarre moment, he just headbutted Materazzi in the chest and was sent off. And then France went on to lose on penalties when David Trezeguet missed, and the winning penalty was scored from Fabio Grosso. Italy won the shootout 5-3. I mean, I was in year 5 at primary school at the time, so the main thing I do remember about this tournament, though, is, as usual, being quite disappointed with how England played, because as a 10-year-old, you always have unrealistically high hopes for your country to do well, and I really did for England. I really looked at our team and thought we had such a good side that we should really be challenging, but we never, to be honest with you. We beat Paraguay in the group 1-0 thanks to an own goal, beat Trinidad and Tobago 2-0 with 2 late goals from Peter Crouch and Steven Gerrard, drew with Sweden 2-2, in a game that Joe Cole scored a brilliant goal. If you haven't seen that goal, check it out. But we let the lead go at the end when Henrik Larsson equalised in the last minute for a scrappy goal. Only just edged past Ecuador in the last 16, 1-0. And then we went out to Portugal on penalties in a game that really seemed to be the birth of Cristiano Ronaldo, where after that game he seemed to go up a level for the rest of his career. So I don't know if that was a catalyst for Ronaldo necessarily, but that was the game. Ironically, the season after that at Man United, he was amazing. And just generally, Ronaldo for then just kicked on. His career's got better and better ever since. So yeah, I mean, that was England's side of the tournament, but the rest of the tournament, in terms of classic matches and classic goals, I mean, the classic goals-wise, check out Maxi Rodriguez's against Mexico in the last 16. One of the great goals at the World Cup when he took it down on his chest, left foot volley. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend you check it out. And also you've got the likes of, the games-wise, the semi-final, okay, it was 0-0 after 90 minutes, but Germany versus Italy was an absolute classic, and Italy managed to win in extra time 2-0 thanks to goals from Grosso and Del Piero. Generally that game was brilliant, the atmosphere, and you really felt the Germans' hearts sink after Grosso scored. It was one of them goals that you kind of everything just seemed to stop. Of course, it wasn't quite as bad as the 2014 World Cup when Germany thrashed Brazil 7-1. But still, I mean, generally this was a cracking semi-final, and seeing the hosts go out, you really felt it. You really felt the disappointment. But yeah, I mean, there's so many good things in this tournament, so many good teams in this tournament. I mean, Brazil, the players they had at this tournament, like Ronaldo, This is the tournament Ronaldo broke the goals record in a World Cup at the time, 15. Hasn't been since overtaken by Miroslav Klose with 16, though. Ironically, he broke that against Brazil in 2014. But yeah, I mean, it was such a good Brazil side. You had Ronaldo, Adriano, Kaká, Ronaldinho. It was just a brilliant side, but it was a bit of an aging Brazil side in ways as well, though. So they did lose in the quarterfinals to France 1-0, thanks to a goal from Thierry Henry. But yeah, just many teams in this tournament. There's so many legendary players in teams, really, and the quality of football was very much at its best at this point as well. So yeah, this was my personal favourite ever tournament. 4 years later, we had the South African tournament, which, to be honest, I wasn't really a big fan of that one. I was 14 at the time, and I just remember not being massive on that tournament, to be honest. There was something about it, even being at school and again having the hype. England very much underwhelmed in that tournament as well, and they were eliminated by Germany, of course, controversially in a way because of Frank Lampard's goal that wasn't given. But I'm sure Germany were outplaying England anyway, so they probably would have gone through in truth. But and then you had 2014 in Brazil, which was a good tournament. Certainly not the best tournament ever, but it was a good tournament. Of course, we had that special Germany versus Brazil game in the semi-final, and you had that Germany moment when Mario Götze won it for them. I think the Brazil tournament I'd probably sum up as the group stage was brilliant, but from the last 16 onwards, it was quite underwhelming, and there were many cagey and uninspiring games from the last 16 onwards. And then, of course, 2018 was in... Sorry, mine's gone blank for a moment then. Wow. 2018 was in Russia, actually. Mine went completely blank. And yes, Russia, and of course, was won by France, who beat Croatia 4-2 in the final, in what was one of the most high-scoring finals we've seen in a World Cup, actually. Maybe... if it wasn't one of the most high-scoring, definitely you don't see World Cup finals very often with that many goals in. But yeah, World Cup 2018 I feel like was a good tournament, an entertaining one, but it was quite low on quality, I felt, really. The top team certainly never turned up in the tournament, and England had a good run to the semi-final, but England's run to the semi-final was quite nice, to be honest with you. They faced some sides that you'd expect... England pretty much did what people would have expected, to be honest with you, to get to the semi-final with the run that they had. And the England-Croatia game could have gone either way, but it did fall the way of Croatia, who won it in extra time. But yeah, I mean, that's the tournaments I've watched, really, 2006, 10, 14 and 18 of World Cups. And of course, the next one's Qatar in 2022, which I really still hope gets changed because I'd rather see the tournament be in the summer. But we'll have to wait and see there. But I'm not really a fan of the one in the winter, to be fair, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, hopefully the next World Cup is as usual very good. Yeah, big fan of the World Cup 2006. For me, that's my favourite personal ever tournament. And even though there was a few cagey games, don't get me wrong, all the games weren't entertaining. But that's not always how a World Cup should be, in my opinion. A World Cup is about... The games should be entertaining to a point, but I believe they should be... quite cagey as well, because it's the World Cup. You don't want to make a mistake in the World Cup. You're not going to go hammer and tongs at another team because that can play to their advantage. So the way World Cups are played for me is a little bit different to a normal game, because the World Cup for most players is the pinnacle. They only get every 4 years to play. You never know what's going to happen. You could get injured before the tournament, and then you miss the whole tournament. You've got to wait another 4 years to play in another, and 4 years is such a long time in football as well, so... Yeah, I mean, that's my, overall take. But yeah, World Cup 2006, in my opinion, is the best. Please let me know in the comments what you think your best World Cup you've ever seen is. But yeah, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. And still trying to get the channel to take off. So far, 20 subscribers. So yeah, just hoping the momentum builds and I get more and more. And people start to view the channel more as well. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with a Bundesliga weekend review. The final game is tonight. So back tomorrow with the Bundesliga review. And like I say, please like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.